I'm actually really excited for that. The Museum of the Bible is one of my favorite museums here in Washington. Probably actually my favorite these days, if I had to say it. Benny, have you been to the Museum of the Bible yet?
I have, yeah.
Me
and my mom went. It's amazing.
It's so good. It's so good.
I got one of the pictures of, is it George Washington, where he's praying at Valley Forge?
Of course.
Oh my gosh, and I have it framed in my house.
We have that.
Beautiful.
Well, Tanya and I got married in Valley Forge, so that's
You did?
yeah. So that's for
how
us.
amazing.
We got engaged there too, actually.
Oh my
And so
gosh.
that's always been just that and Washington and
So much.
very personal.
Yeah.
I grew up going there all the time
Yeah.
to Valley Forge, like every weekend with my family, flying kites, whatever, sledding in the winter. And that's always been so close. But what I love about the Museum of the Bible, there's so much stuff for families that if you have kids, you can. There's tons of interactive stuff for kids. There's like a playground area, but it's all like obviously biblical. But then even for like the Bible nerds like me, if you go to that top floor, and even like Tanya, because she does the languages, I love the section on the translations and the
all
sort of
the different translations of it,
yeah,
and all
the
different
partial.
I think that was
pieces of the Bible that have been found over the years. It gives you it gives you goosebumps. It really does.
That was probably my favorite, seeing the depth of how far it goes, because we just look at it, it's English, it's our Bible, it's this.
Pull it off the shelf and
but
off
when
you go.
you look at it from that view, it's like, whoa, you're just
and you realize
speechless.
how much, and I see that as the Dead Sea Scrolls exhibit, which I think is phenomenal. That what's so cool about that, we're to tie the Dead Sea Scrolls in, and here we are. It is Holy Thursday.
Yep.
We're going into Holy Week. The Holy Week has begun. We're in the Passion cycle, and so it's all connected. So today's the day of the Last Supper. Christ gives us the new covenant. He gives us the Eucharist. Then you have Good Friday, of course, where he dies. Holy Saturday, where he descends to the dead, and then of course Easter Sunday. So you have the whole thing, and it begins on Holy Thursday. But when you look at the Dead Sea Scrolls, what was amazing about it, because they had been, you talk about the translation, they had been under seal from the time of Christ until now. And yet we have all these translations over the years. And of course, there's that question, right? Did people go in and edit things? Did people add words? Did they add sections? Did they change things up a little bit to meet the politics today? And to be sure, there are translations that do play a little fast and loose, but not to get into all that. But what's amazing was when they pulled those pots out of Qumran in that cave for the Dead Sea Scrolls, they were able to take that and then put it up to the Bible of today. It was mostly Old Testament, and they were able to find that the translations were almost verbatim perfect. And so now you have a check that means that so throughout those years, when people were translating it, they were doing so faithfully. And when they were copying it down,
we get
word for word.
Can we get a little of that in today's world?
We could use some. Well,
Please.
and of course, when you look at Holy Thursday, you look at Christ's sacrifice for us.
This is the Holy Thursday day. It puts everything into perspective. The meaning.
Well, I think it does, and you look at how that day runs. So Christ gives us, he establishes the communion in the new covenant, the body and the blood, and because he knows this is going to be my last time that I'm with all of you before I have to go through what I have to go through. He then goes to the Garden of Gethsemane. You have the mystery of the agony in the garden where he's up there, Father, take this cup from me. And of course, that's when Judas comes in and betrays him. That's when Peter denies him the 3 times. He goes on trial. It's all there. It's all there.
One of the things, and I was thinking about this morning before the show, is like in this world that we're in right now, you think, if someone's hateful towards me, it makes you want to be hateful back to them. Someone betrays you. What do kids in my generation want to do? They want to vengeful. They want to go right back at them as hard as they came at them. And then you look at that story and you're like, no. Jesus was literally betrayed by one of his disciples, by someone that was in his inner circle. And what did he still do? He still washed his feet. He knew it was coming. And what did he do? He didn't change anything. It's so powerful. And I think in the modern world, we have to hold on to that. The humility, the service. I think we've lost track of that.
And then when Christ is on the cross itself, he's up there. He's in the process of being crucified, a process that is so heinous and so painful and so horrific that we actually had to come up, in Latin, they had to come up with a new word for it, excrucius, or excruciating. So the word excruciating, the root of that is the same word as to crucify, because it is so painful they had to come up with a new word for it. And as he's going through that, he says, Father, forgive them, they know not what they do. So he forgives the soldiers, he forgives the people who have done the crucifixion. And to your point, right, we're in this society today where, it's, oh, somebody came at me, I got to come back 10 times. I mean, I've certainly, someone who's done that as well. And you do have to stand up for yourself in righteousness.
Righteousness,
at the time. But yes, it is very human for us to fall into those patterns.
Yeah. No, it's just, and I think it's really not to, I know we're gonna talk about here in a little bit about, the event tonight, the Turning Point event here in DC, but it goes back to that division and community and just bringing those like-minded people together and speaking your faith and doing all the things, and that's what today is all about. It's about just showing how you should carry out your life and how you should continue to operate regardless of what the world says.
Well, so, and for folks who don't know, that we've been talking about it all week, but it's tonight, George Washington University right here in Washington, D.C. It's going to be myself. It's going to be Erica Kirk. It's also going to be White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, Turning Point USA. This is the Turning Point tour over at GWU. The campus is all set. We're going to be heading over after this, and Real America's Voice is going to be covering that live. So I know that you are going to be part of the pre-show. Tell us what you're doing.
I am, yeah. So I'm really, really excited about this because I'm going to get to talk to the students and talk to the members of the GW, of, the Turning Point chapter and stuff. And I'm really excited to hear from these students about what Charlie has meant to them and give them the motivation, hear from them, the inspiration they have to continue this mission. And, the same way Charlie poured into me and poured into so many others, I think it'll be incredible to hear some of those stories, because that's what it's about. And making them feel like they are heard, that we will give them airtime and we support them. And so it's going to be really cool. I'm going to be in the lobby area doing all that. So it's going to be really fun, Jack. But you have a big part tonight. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, yes, so today I'm sort of kicking things off, and so the way it works is that they'll have the national anthem. Of course, we're going to do that, and then I'm going to come out. I'm going to speak. Then we're going to have the chapter president speak, and then Caroline and Erica are going to do sort of a sit down fireside chat. So I'm going to come out, and I got to tell you, people want me to get in on politics and this division, that division, but I got to tell you that all I can think about is the fact that it's Holy Thursday. And that's where my head's at, and I think that's where I'm going to end up being tonight. And to say that, this isn't, it's not about politicians, and it's not about elections, and it's not about those things. It's about, are we bringing people to the cross? Benny Ray Harmony, thanks for being here with us. Human Events Daily, and to all of you, we'll catch you later here live on Real America's Voice for This Is the Turning Point this evening. We'll see you very soon. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, you have our permission to lay ashore.